Chapter 18. The Descendants of Lord Ram, King Maru and King Devapi. From Lord Ram was born Kusha. Kusha's son was Atiti. Atiti's son was Nishada, whose son was Naba, and his son was Pundrik. Pundrik's son was Kshemadhanva, whose son was Devanik. Devanik's son was Hina, and his son was Paripatra. Paripatra's son was Balaka. Balaka's son was Arka. Arka's son was Rajanaba, and his son was Kagana. Kagana's son was Vitrutha, whose son was Hiranyaba, and Hiranyaba's son was Pushpa. Pushpa's son was Dhruva. Dhruva's son was Syandana. Syandana's son was Agnivarn, and his son was the very powerful Shigra, who was my father. My name is Maru, but some people called me Buddha or Sumitra. I have been residing at the village of Kalapa, practicing penance. Recently, I heard of your incarnation from Satyavati's son, Vyasadev, and so I've come here to see you. About 100,000 years of Kali Yuga have passed. You are the Supersoul, residing within the hearts of all living beings. Simply by surrendering to you, all of one's sinful reactions, accumulated during millions of lifetimes, are vanquished. One's piety and reputation are enhanced, and all of one's desires are fulfilled. Lord Kalki said, "My dear Maru, after hearing about your ancestors, I can understand that you belong to the Surya dynasty. Who is this person accompanying you? He appears to possess all auspicious characteristics." Upon hearing the words of Lord Kalki, King Devapi very humbly spoke as follows. Devapi said, "After the final dissolution of the universe, four-headed Brahma was born from your lotus-like navel. His son was Atri, whose son was Chandra. Chandra's son was Buddha. Buddha's son was Pururava. Pururava's son was Nahusa, and Nahusa's son was King Yayati. Yayati begot two sons, named Yadu and Turvasu, within the womb of his wife, Devayani. O Lord of the universe, later on, Yayati begot three more sons, named Dhruya, Anu, and Puru, in the womb of Sharmista. Just as, during the creation of the universe, false ego creates the five gross material elements, King Yayati begot these five sons. Puru's son was Janmejaya, whose son was Prachinvan. Prachinvan's son was Pravira. Pravira's son was Manasyu. Manasyu's son was Abhayad. Abhayad's son was Uruksaya. Uruksaya's son was Trerun, whose son was Pushkararuni. Pushkararuni begot a son named Brihat Kshetra, whose son was Hasti, after whom the city of Hastinapur was named. Hasti had three sons, named Ajamida, Ahimida, and Puramida. Ajamid's son was Ruk, whose son was Sanvarn. Sanvarn's son was Kuru. Kuru's son was Parikshat, and Parikshat's sons were Sudanu, Janu, and Nishada. Sudanu's son was Suhotra. Suhotra's son was Chavana, and Chavana's son was Brihadrata, whose son was Kushagra. Kushagra's son was Rishabha. Rishabha's son was Satyajit. Satyajit's son was Pushpavan, and his son was Nahusa. Brihadrata had also begotten the wicked Jarasandh within the womb of another wife. Jarasandh's son was Sahadev. Sahadev's son was Simapi. Simapi's son was Shrutrasrava. Shrutrasrava's son was Surata, and his son was Vidurat. The son of Vidurat was Sarvabhaum. Sarvabhaum's son was Jayasen. Jayasen's son was Ratanika, and his son was the wrathful king Utayu. The son of Utayu was Devatiti. Devatiti's son was Riksha. Riksha's son was Dilipa, and his son was Pratipak. My dear Lord, I am the son of Pratipak, and my name is Devapi. I handed over my kingdom to Shantanu and went to reside at the village of Kalapa, where I perform austerities with undivided attention. After hearing about your appearance within this world, I came to see you. Maru and I, along with the other sages, will certainly attain the exalted destination attained by self-realized souls by the mercy of your lotus feet. Thus, we will never again fall into the jaws of death. Upon hearing this, lotus-eyed Lord Kalki smiled and then spoke in an assuring manner. Lord Kalki said, "What you have said is correct. Both of you are very pious kings. Now, by my order, you should go to your traditional abodes and prepare to rule your kingdoms. My dear King Maru, very soon I will destroy all the sinful mlechas who simply torment the citizens. After doing so, I will come to your capital city, Ayodhya, where I will perform a coronation ceremony. My dear King Devapi, after I decimate the wicked Pulkashas, I will come to your capital city, Hastinapur, and perform your coronation ceremony. I will continue to give you all protection while residing at Mathura. I will kill Shayayakarn, Ustramukha, Ekajanga, and Bilodara, and thereafter re-establish Satya Yug for the welfare of all pious souls. Both of you are very expert in understanding all kinds of scriptures and employing all types of weapons. Now you should give up your garb as ascetics, and to destroy the enemies of the earth, put on your royal garments and armor and travel with me and my associates. My dear Maru, King Vishakayupa has a beautiful and highly qualified daughter that he will give you in marriage. You will become the king of the land, and for the benefit of all your subjects, act accordingly to my instructions. My dear Devapi, you will marry Santa, the daughter of Ruchirasva. After hearing these words, King Maru, King Devapi, and all the assembled sages joyfully accepted Lord Kalki as the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari. As Lord Kalki was thus conversing with the kings and sages, two celestial chariots that were brilliant like the sun and decorated with countless jewels, which were constructed by Vishvakarma and filled with celestial weapons, and which fulfill all of one's desires, descended from the sky. With great enthusiasm, everyone exclaimed, "What are we seeing?" Lord Kalki said, "It is understood that both of you are powerful kings who embody the potency of Surya, Chandra, Yama, and Kuver, and have descended to protect the earth. Up until now, you remained incognito. By my order, take these 2 chariots, which are given to you by Indra, the king of heaven. As Lord Kalki, the husband of Padmavati, the maintainer of the universe, was speaking, the demigods began to shower flowers from the sky, while the assembled kings offered him selected prayers. Cool and pleasing breezes began to blow, making the atmosphere very soothing. These breezes had crossed the waves of the river Ganga, which rests on the head of Mahadev, and thus caresses Parvati's soft limbs, giving her pleasure. Thereafter, an effulgent lotus-eyed mendicant who looked like a sage, Sanaka, arrived there. This exalted personality was always in a joyful mood. His complexion was the color of molten gold, and he appeared to be the shelter of religious principles. He was beautifully dressed. Matted hair crowned his head, and he carried a staff. He was extraordinary. Simply by contact with the breezes that touched his body, one became purified. Thus ends the translation of the 18th chapter of Shri Kalki Puran. Shri Radha.